Art. It's an expression of our thoughts, emotions, problems, desires. It's a reflection of our world or of what isn't. It's probably the most powerful tool to communicate concepts that cannot be portrayed by words alone. And yet, many artists, painters, sculptors have trouble getting their artworks the exposure that they deserve. They have the experience that when they communicate through art, people do not see it. Many artworks are left in the dark, only to be enjoyed by a few. And why is that? How can these artists showcase their works in a more powerful, meaningful way so that hundreds of thousands or even millions of people can finally experience it? Today, that is made possible with the internet and social media. 55% of the world's population now has internet access. That's 3.5 billion people, and that number is growing by the second. The number of social media users is 2.5 billion people. The internet and social media have changed our lives. Platforms like Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, and many others enable its users to share, communicate knowledge that is yet to be learned. With a show of hands, how many of you have already seen this painting online? On Facebook, on Twitter, on any other social media platform? The Mona Lisa by Leonardo da Vinci is one of the most famous paintings in the world. It sits at the Louvre Museum in Paris, one of the most photographed and Instagrammed museums. This painting gives us a deeper understanding and look at how the art experience has now changed. Before the internet, people had to physically be at a museum or a gallery in order to enjoy a painting. They enjoyed it, immersed themselves in it, and simply looked at it. But simply looking at a painting isn't enough nowadays. With the advent of social media, people's initial reaction is to take a picture of the painting or a selfie and post it online. Before social media and the internet, emerging and successful artists had a hard time getting noticed. They had to contact galleries and organize shows and talks and exhibitions. And that was a lot of hard work. But through social media and the internet, they are now able to reach a much larger audience. And they can also directly interact with this audience. Now you must all be wondering, why does all this even matter? After working in consulting for a couple of months, I decided to pursue my own passion, visual arts. I didn't just want to be another actor in this industry, but rather wanted to create a huge change in my country. I researched through books, government documents. I visited countless galleries and museums. I met with several artists, some that have had great success, but also others that could barely make a living from their hard work and talent. I kept seeing the supply rising and the demand was there too, but these two had a hard time meeting somewhere in the middle. I noticed three major problems. The first one was that the art sector was a fairly closed sector. People had a hard time accessing it. The second issue was that potential buyers did not know where to or how to invest in art. And the third problem was that visual artists did not know how to grow their audience and promote their artwork in a more progressive way. So how can we open up this art market and enable these visual artists to reach a much larger audience and promote their artworks in a more progressive way? And how can we turn this audience into potential buyers? I quickly realized that the answer lies in the internet and social media. I created an online website, MoroccanPaintings.com, and started sharing and promoting artworks by Moroccan artists from all over the country. While most people encouraged me, many were unconvinced. But only a few months in, I received hundreds upon hundreds of emails from different artists who wanted to collaborate and share their artworks online. I was overwhelmed and had a hard time keeping up. But that is when I realized the potential of this huge market. And I couldn't do this alone. My ultimate goal was to promote art online, was to give these artists a platform to show their voice. My ultimate goal was to give these artists another chance to show their artworks to a much larger audience. But a website wasn't enough, because social media was an even more powerful tool to reach a much larger audience. On Instagram alone, there have been over 1 billion monthly active users as of June 2017. What differentiates Instagram from other social media platforms is that it is overwhelmingly visual and experiential. More pictures, fewer words. Instagram has changed and shaped the way we view and experience art. So then, I created my own Instagram page. And it's fine. Yeah, it's fine. So I created my own Instagram page, Moroccan Paintings. Over the past year, it has reached over 19,000 followers, 68% of which are from Morocco. The goal was to showcase Moroccan talents for the rest of the world to see. From paintings to street art, it was to give these artists a platform to show their artworks. But promoting art wasn't the only issue, because visual artists worldwide earn some of the lowest incomes in the creative category. I have met with several artists, some of which could barely make a living from their hard work and talents. Visual artists worldwide, their income is usually from the sales of their artwork, and there's a lot of uncertainty and a lack of visibility in this area. In the US, for example, the average national income, annual income, is of about $31,000. As you can see here in the gray area, the artist earns about a third of that, or $10,000. In the UK, the average national income is of about £21,000, and an artist gets half of that, £10,000. And in Australia, the gap is even bigger, where the artist gets a fraction of the average national annual income of $37,000. And there isn't even enough data for countries such as mine. But social media and Instagram is changing the way the art world is doing business. To date, over 50 billion photos have been shared on Instagram alone. And 72% of its users have claimed to have already purchased a product that they saw on the app. What if I told you that the most expensive painting sold on Instagram was sold for $24 million? Yes, you heard it right, $24 million. This painting by Jean-Michel Basquiat was posted on this app, and only hours after he posted it, he received an offer from the other side of the world. Instagram has changed the world the art world is doing business. In the past 3 years, the art market has doubled, and is going to double once again in the next 4 years. Instagram and social media have shaped the way we view, experience, and share art. As Edgar Degas once said, art is not what you see, but what you make others see. So I invite you to join me on this journey and share art online, promote art online, or just simply talk about it to your friends and family. So let us change the world with art. Thank you.